Hey Taurus, Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings. Take what works, leave what doesn't. As with everything, if I don't catch a wavelength or storyline here, go check your other major placements. We're going to start off with the Oracle of Mystical Moments, then move on to more traditional tarot spread. Ooh, I was just thinking about this one. And like it's candy, but protective nest. So we have something that we've been maybe secretive about, maybe protective of, something that's on our mind. But there's ideas that we have that we're not sharing, but there's also, in addition to that, there's something that we're bringing into reality that we've been a little protective of, maybe a little secretive about. We've hidden it away. We've been protecting something, an idea, a movement, something that we're working on. And we're also waiting on divine timing, or not divine timing. It's like we're not going to open this egg before it's ready. Now our job is just to protect something, to hold something while it develops. So there's some sort of natural process that we're not really in charge of and in control of that's developing here. Something's growing, something's developing, and something's, and we're not ready to share it. We haven't been so far. We might be, but we haven't been so far. And so this thing is going to crack out of the egg. But it has to be ready, and it has to do the cracking, and it has to come out kind of on its own. Because if we, it's hard to come up with a metaphor for this in real life. But I mean, other than just the egg, I mean, it's just an egg. If you crack it from the outside, it kills the thing on the inside. So it's got to do its own thing. So there's something here that we've been protective of while it develops, while it grows. It's like being pregnant. I think we've had this metaphor for you guys before. You know, you're not, we don't want to, you remove that baby before it's time, and you're going to have some problems and some issues. Sometimes that's the right thing to do. But in this case, I'm seeing like we're letting, and there's more where that came from. It's almost like there's like a little pipeline here of ideas. So you've got a bunch of ideas up here, a bunch of thoughts. You keep them to yourself. You sort of develop them, protect them. So there's something you've been holding on to, something you've been working on, not really working on it, but something that's been in development. That's just, you've been very protective of it. And you just haven't really, it hasn't had its time in the sun yet. And so all of this is all like preliminary work. This is all groundwork. This is all, one of my other decks has like laying the groundwork. And so this is all the preliminary work, right? Once that thing cracks open from the egg, it's got a whole other new cycle going ahead of it, a whole new life ahead of it, a whole new something else. But for now, it's been under your possession, under wraps, under your control, and you have not, you're just making sure it develops nicely, and while you wait for it to be ready. So then we have bloom. So I feel like maybe this thing that we've been talking about that you've been protective of might be opening up, might be blossoming, might be cracking through its shell right now, might be ready to communicate with the world, to connect with the world. Bloom to me also talks about psychic communication. It also talks about opening, listening, opening up about something, open to receiving information, and receiving. But I am basically seeing the same thing, this protectiveness, this thing, it's ready to open up. It's ready for that sunshine to come in. It's going to crack open, and you can see the beams of sun coming into the flower center here as we crack this open. So something's ready to bloom, something's ready to come forward, and ready to start engaging with reality and engaging with the world. This is what's happening. I feel like you've been very protective of something, and it's time for that thing to bloom, to crack out of its shell now. This has something to do with words. We have abracadabra. We have an ability here to create reality an ability here to, we've had a lot of growth, obviously. I mean, look how tall she is. There's like a huge amount of growth here. And we also have the spiral talking about having kind of circled around to the same things, having done sort of the same ideas, or having a repeated pattern in our life. And each time that pattern shows up, you learn something and you move on and you grow. And then again, life brings you back to that pattern. Because again, with a spiral, how can we not talk about Mandelbrot sets and that whole thing, and the program that just originally starts it. So we all do have these sort of seed energies, and as they unfold, as they develop, as they grow, we learn more and we grow more. And so many of us have repetitive cycles. That's, I believe, part of just being human is repetitive cycles. The themes of our life, the themes that we come back to again and again, and breaking out of those requires personal growth. And I feel like at some point, like a Mandelbrot set, at some point that personal growth can start morphing into something else and start moving on to something else. Abracadabra here also talks about words. So we're talking a lot about personal growth. And I feel like maybe not necessarily breaking out of a cycle, but definitely reaching a new level. In a cycle, reaching a new, like you've been here before, but this time it's going to be different. And it has something to do with your words, it has something to do with what you're going to say, what you're going to talk about, right? We've grown enough that we can reach the star that we want. Now we've grown and we've achieved enough and we can reach the star. So there's a lot of here about, I feel like, breaking out of something, like a breakout period, breaking out of a rut. I wouldn't necessarily say breaking out of a cycle, but growing, right? Because just because the chick is leaving the egg doesn't mean it's not a chick anymore, never was a chick or whatever. Like, we're breaking open. There's a leveling up here and an opening up and a new level, a new cycle. There's just been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of growth, and it's time now for the blooming, the magic moment, the manifestation of that growth, for that growth to be seen and to be experienced, and there's a sense of this thing you've been growing maybe in private, and it may be time to bring this thing that you've grown into, or bring this growth into some sort of public, into reality, not necessarily public, but into reality, right? There's a blooming, the flower blooms, but it's got everything contained right here. It's just a matter of timing and being ready. And so with these three cards, I see a lot of growth has taken place within, and we're blooming now. There's something about words, and there's something about being able to manifest something now that you've wanted to for a long time, you've worked on for a long time, you've cycled around to it repeatedly, and it's like now's the growth, like the breakout period. Like maybe you've written like 5 novels, and this is the one that's the breakout novel. This is the one that I mean, as a metaphor, right? So all this work, and each time you write a novel, you learn new things, you learn about your own process, you learn how you want to structure things, you learn, it's been a long process, right? It takes a long time to write a novel, typically. And so it's been a long process, lots of self-reflection, and then we're getting to like a breakout situation where we get a breakout of what we've been working on and bring it to fruition in reality. This is your past, your present, inner landscape, what's at issue, environment. Well, hello there again. To-do list and possible outcome. Same card, same placement as Aries here, so that's fascinating. Oh, there's actually some similarities to Aries. Even though there's only one exactly similar card, there is something very, very similar. Okay, in your it's just funny, like they had a 10 in the same spot, they have similar meaning in this spot, the same card in that spot. All right, well, enough about Aries, let's talk about Taurus. 10 of coins, you completed something, successful completion. A successful completion of a cycle, possibly having to do with work. This also can be inheritance. This can be money related, but something was successful, and and complete it. It's interesting to start a reading on a note of in your recent past. So you've already done something. You've already accomplished something. You already did something. You already succeeded at this thing. You have, right? We're talking about repeated cycles here. Like, it's like you've already done this. You were already successful at this. You've done one good thing, or you've already had some success here. You've already completed something, right? It's like you've already completed a novel. Now you're working on a different one, but you've already completed something. You've already done something and brought it to fruition. People enjoyed it. Look, someone's even reading it. People enjoyed it. People liked it. There was a bountiful success here. So there was success. Everybody liked it. Everybody enjoyed it. The job was done, and all that was left was to enjoy the fruits of your labors. So, but in your current situation, we have Page of Cups. So this can be a person that you're interacting with. They may have some very surprising information. This could be you too. This is a surprising feeling. This is something you weren't expecting to feel. This is a bit or this other person is feeling something they were not expecting to feel. And this isn't always love offerings. We have lots of other emotions in our little emotional cups that we carry around with us. We can have all sorts of things. We can have bitters, we can have simple syrups, we can have, overly sweet things, and we can have tears. We can have a little cup of tears in here. So, but whatever's in there, it's alive and it's surprising. And it's not... Like here we have this like peaceful day. Everything's complete. We've completed some kind of cycle. We've brought things to fruition, and it's just time to enjoy the fruits of our labors. But this Page of Cups is a little bit darker here. There's a little bit of tumult, but there's a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of what do I feel? This fish like wants to talk. So whatever you're feeling, this is reminding me of that little trick when whatever you're feeling, invite it in, ask it to sit on your couch, give it some tea, and ask your little feeling that you're having here, what did you come to say to me? It's like they're going to have some drinks together. They're going out to have some drinks together, and they're going to see what this is about. Where did this fish come from? What's this surprising emotional thing? Like maybe we thought we were done with something, and then here now there's like new emotions and new feelings about it. What? There's this kind curiosity though, there's a curiosity. Something shows up, you need to listen. Bloom is often about listening and opening up our ears and opening up our mind to something that's new, something that's come, some sort of message coming in here. And it's a little bit surprising, and it's a little bit strange, and it's got some unique feelings with it. You're definitely feeling something. It has to do with learning. Our pages learn, exploration. Why do you feel this way? Your hopes, your fears, your inner landscape. You're worried about something being stolen and something being sneaked. So this is possibly why we've been very protective of this, right? I've got another deck I'm seeing here, same artist as this one, where we've got a snake stealing. This card is represented by a snake stealing eggs. So it's the same card, but it's stealing these eggs. So you may have been very protective of an idea, very worried that someone was going to steal your idea. Or this can be not talking about it. You could not want to talk about it, right? We've got this Page of Cups, this person, you or someone else, with these surprising feelings. And this is, maybe you're like, I don't want to talk about it. I really don't want to talk about it. I like to stay in a very protective mode. I don't want to share about this. I don't want to talk about this. Really don't want to talk about it. I'd rather just move on with my life without saying anything, right? Because this is sneaking away with communication and ideas. Like, not wanting to engage in open conflict. So you could be hoping to sneak away without talking about it, like, all right, that was weird, I'm just gonna ignore that and move on. Or you're very worried about, right, it's hopes and fears, or you're very worried about someone stealing something from you, or being sneaky, maybe ideas, maybe this, your novel, you haven't shared it with anyone because you're worried they're gonna steal your ideas, your metaphorical novel here. So, but this is being very worried that, and being very protective because you're worried that someone's going to steal something, steal your ideas, steal your communication, right? Because swords are communication and ideas. So you might be feeling really worried that someone's going to steal something from you. Or you could just be like, I don't want to engage with this right now. So I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear that and move on. So I see a couple possibilities for the storyline already here. So 6 of Coins, something's very disorganized and imbalanced about work and money and time allotments. It's just very unbalanced, very disorganized. Some things might seem a little unfair. There might be something that's unfair. There might be something that's taking from you that was meant to give to you. So right with the 7 of Swords, you're worried that someone's going to be stealing something from you or taking something from you. And the 6 of Swords is like there's a lot of disorganization because I think there is like concerns. There might be very valid concerns about someone stealing something from you or taking something from you or not getting your due, not getting what's owed to you. Or somebody here could be being very stingy, not giving someone what's owed to them. There can be a stinginess, a greediness, and a reverse 6 of Coins. There can be disorganization around money, a lack of clarity around money, right? Because in the upright, we're being very fair, very calculated. There's a flow to things. There's a balance to things. What is needed is received. So you could be not getting what you need here. And somebody's withholding it, though. That's the thing with the 6 of Coins. Someone's withholding what you need. So this could be fueling this fear that someone's stealing from you, because so there is a sense of withholding here. There's not a flow. There's a withholding. There's an imbalance and a withholding. In your environment, this could be this is 9 of Wands. Somebody here, or the energy is just exhaustion, just tired of fighting, tired of working. I mean, this often drives the 7 of Swords, is like, I don't want to fight anymore, so maybe if I just steal everybody's ammo and walk away and sneak away, I don't have to engage in this battle anymore. Because this is a battle that's going on way too long. Everybody needed to go home, go to bed. This is like 3 o'clock in the morning and you're still arguing because someone's got some sort of weird ass idea that you don't go to bed mad. No, you do go to bed mad, because at some point that's all that's available, right? So this is an argument that's gone on way too long, a difficulty, a discussion. People are tired of it. They just want to go home. They're sick of it. They're done, and yet they can't. There's something that keeps him like this wounded soldier needs a discharge papers, needs his discharge papers. But instead of getting discharge papers, he got a new assignment. And he was like, no, you got to be joking here. I'm tired. I want to go home. I'm done with this. I'm over this. But why am I still out here on the battlefield? I should have been home days ago. So there's a sense of exhaustion here in this environment. And there's a sense also of just not being free. Not being free to go home, not being free to get the rest you want to get. And something in your environment is causing this. It's like the military or the situation is just won't die. It just won't end. The battle continues on. I mean, how did we go from 10 of Coins, this gorgeous, successful completion of something where everybody's celebrating, and then we go from that in your past, and then now we're down at 9 of Wands, where it's this celebration, maybe someone's even been killed here already, and there's like, this celebration has turned into some sort of battle. It's like everybody had too much to drink, and they all started fighting, and now it's 3 o'clock in the morning and no one can shut up, no one can drive home anymore, so everybody's got to stay here and fight. Something that was fun and great has turned into a prolonged battle. You thought it was over, and it's not. It just keeps going on. So your to-do list, fun. Your to-do list, the energy you're supposed to interact with is strength. So this is inner strength. Be strong. You want to go home? You can't. So you're going to have to find the inner strength to keep dealing with this. I also see inner strength as not being able to give in. Maybe you just literally can't give in. And the circumstance, like whoever's doing this or whatever this situation is, where you're not being treated fairly, or there's some sort of imbalance or withholding, like you're waiting for something and you can't stop waiting. It's like, you know, if you brought your car to the shop and it wasn't ready on time, and you're like, well, I got to get to work, and the only way I can get to work is with my car. So it's not like I can just leave. I have to wait till they're done with my car. So even though I'm, you know, now late for work, and, you know, there's a cascading issues happening here, and you can't go, you can't quit. You can't just leave the situation. A lot's riding on it. So you have to find the inner strength. The inner strength to deal with this. You can't give in. You can't give up. That's the situation. You can't give in. You can't give up. Something, the externals won't allow it. So you have to find some inner strength. You have to keep going. It feels like it's taking forever. There's some sort of like eternal strength that you have to tap into. I have another deck that talks about this card, calls it the Lilith card. It's about not giving in, not laying down, not giving up, but having the inner strength to persevere. Tame your inner beast, because you still got work to do. You can't just leave. I mean, sometimes we can, but in this, whatever I'm talking about here, you can't just give up and quit. You have to keep tapping. And I mean, look how annoyed she is. She's like, I just really cannot believe I'm still here with this lion on my lap. I'm still here. And I don't know if you can see how annoyed she is. I love it though. She's had it. She's done. She's basically this guy, but neither of them can go home. And she's just going to have to find the strength to tame this inner beast she's got. You know, it thinks it's a lap kitty, and it is not a lap kitty. It thinks it's friendly. The situation may think it is friendly. Whoever or whatever you're dealing with may think you're friends. It's fine. And you're like, oh Lord, the strength I need to get through this. It's not a bad idea to rely on a higher power too, to give you the strength to at least, yeah, because we've got this battle horse here. You can't go home. You're still in this battle. All right. Possible outcome. What? The Lovers? I'm having a hard time with this. The Lovers. The Lovers, possible outcome. The Lovers asks us to pick, to choose that which we love, that which calls to us. There's a divine calling here. There's something that's more practical, more easily explainable, but there's a divine calling here. Do you go with what you love? Do you continue to go with what you love? Even though the barriers are so high and the difficulties are there, you may come to like a point where you have to choose. You have to make a choice. And I mean, your heart tells you one thing, but the spreadsheet says a totally different thing. And it's one of those big choices in life. It's one of those big decisions. Do we go towards what we love, or do we, I want to say, give in to the practicalities of a situation? Right now you're being asked to be strong. In the future there will be more choices. And following your heart never wins a spreadsheet, right? That's why it's following your heart, not following your head. Your head wins the spreadsheet. Logic wins the spreadsheet. But this Lover's card, what do you love? How are you going to live your life? Are you going to follow your spirit? Are you going to trust your spirit? Are you going to trust that you're strong enough to come what may, to follow that I want to say intimate calling, impractical as it may be? And there are times when we can follow that, and there are times when the circumstances just literally don't allow it. But we look for our openings. Okay. Well, Lovers, a choice, deep connection with something, and a decision whether to go with that or not. You may be actually very surprised about what you're deeply connected with, and you may be stuck in something else for now that's requiring all of your strength, right? Because we have this Page of Cups, so you may be very surprised by what's calling your name, by what you love, by what's how you feel about something. You may be very surprised by it. But there'll be choices to be made in the future, but right now you don't really have a choice. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There'll be choices in the future, but right now you don't really have one. So you just have to find the inner strength to deal with the situation as it is. So hopefully that's helpful for you, Taurus. Thank you for your likes, subscribes, and comments.